Everybody, and welcome to The Balancing Act. I'm Julie Moran.
And I'm Olga Villaverdi. Today, we are learning more about pulmonary arterial hypertension, or PAH.
And Ralph, we love our Ralph. He is on the road. Hey, Ralph.
I am heading for the chef's paradise, and I'm going to pick out some bountiful vegetables. I can't wait.
Farm fresh, yummy.
Yum.
And how appropriate is this on Veterans Day? The folks behind the Wounded Warrior Project are here, and I got to tell you, Julie, this is an amazing organization.
Can't wait for that. The Balancing Act starts right now.
Pulmonary arterial hypertension, or PAH, is a chronic and progressive rare disease that affects your heart's ability to pump blood to your lungs. Women are 4 times more likely to have this disease. PAH can eventually lead to right heart failure and ultimately death. But proper treatment may delay the disease from getting worse. Dr. Melendres Groves and Marla, who has PAH, join us this morning with more. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Doctor, let me start with you. What are the symptoms that patients will start feeling?
The symptoms tend to be quite vague in the beginning. So patients may feel something like fatigue, or they might have shortness of breath, but this is an ongoing persistent fatigue or shortness of breath with exertion. And it leads with progression of the disease to really quite profound symptoms, such as passing out, such as chest pain or chest discomfort, having sort of abdominal bloating almost. It's fluid that you're retaining, or your legs become enlarged because of fluid retention.
Let me bring you in, Marla. I understand you were extremely active, marathon runner. Tell me about what you were doing.
Yes, I had run 3 marathons. I was running 9 miles a day, and all of a sudden, I couldn't run anymore.
So what started happening? What were the symptoms with you?
I was getting short of breath. I needed to take more breaks. I was very tired.
What's occurring when patients have PAH?
What we find is that the blood vessels that lead from the right side of the heart out into the lungs become affected. We have 3 substances that the body makes that in this disease are not made in the appropriate amounts. Okay. We have nitric oxide, which the body is making too little of. We have endothelin, which the body is making too much of. And then we have prostacyclin, which is being made in too little amounts in the body. And these would normally work together in our body to hold those blood vessels open, allow for blood to freely flow from the right side of the heart through the lungs. And unfortunately, in this disease, those become out of balance. We have found treatments that specifically address those 3 substances.
How is PAH diagnosed, doctor?
We have a diagnostic algorithm that we typically follow. This would help us to rule out more common diseases such as problems with the left side of the heart, or lung diseases such as asthma or COPD. And in this situation, you really have to go down that algorithm to get to the right heart catheterization to give a definitive diagnosis for PAH. From the time that somebody has symptoms to the time that they're actually diagnosed with a right heart catheterization can be upwards of 3 years.
So Marla, share with me your journey of, finally getting a diagnosis.
The pulmonologist I went to diagnosed me with exercise-induced asthma, sent me with 2 inhalers, and said, come back in a couple weeks and let me know how you're feeling.
Okay.
So after a couple weeks, I went back and I wasn't feeling any better. And at that time, the pulmonologist I was seeing took an x-ray of my heart. He had sent me to a colleague for an echocardiogram. And he said from the results of the echocardiogram that I had pulmonary hypertension. At that point, he told me that I was going to die and that I needed to get my affairs in order and I needed to get on the heart and lung transplant list. I had my 6-year-old daughter with me at the time.
What was going through your mind? I can't even imagine.
I looked at her and I was like, she's in kindergarten. I need to watch her graduate from high school, see her graduate college. I wanted to watch her get married and have grandbabies. Yeah. My whole life flashed in front of me.
So after you heard that, what do you do next?
I sought out the opinion of a second pulmonologist, and he sent me for a right heart catheterization at that point. And the results of the right heart cath had stated that I had PAH, but he never gave me a prognosis. He sent me home with a medical regime and a follow-up appointment.
Good, in terms of doing something about it, and now let's work on this journey and fight it. Let's go to Rebecca Rivera-Torres from United Therapeutics. She has more on the importance of this awareness. Rebecca?
So United Therapeutics is actually a company that was founded because of pulmonary arterial hypertension. Over 20 years ago, our founder's daughter was diagnosed with the disease, and there was a lack of information, a lack of awareness, education at that point. And like any parent, you don't just settle at that point, you really fight for your child, and that's what they did. Over the years, United Therapeutics has been working to develop innovative therapies for pulmonary arterial hypertension, and our end goal really is to find a cure for the disease. In the meantime, what's really important is getting the word out about the disease. One of the things that we've done in support of that is create the United PAH support program, as well as our upcoming PAH initiative. Our goal is to really help every current and new patient diagnosed with pulmonary arterial hypertension.
Thank you, Rebecca, so much for that information. And Doctor, chiming in on what Rebecca was talking about, that awareness. I mean, it's important on so many levels.
Absolutely. I think that in this disease specifically, it's making sure that providers out there, physicians out there, and patients are aware of this disease and the progressive nature of this disease.
When symptoms get worse, it's obviously a sign that the disease is progressing. That's not always the case with PAH?
That's right. And we find is that it's what's happening on the inside. And sometimes patients will start to actually feel better on these therapies, but not back to normal. Or they'll just not be getting worse and they think I should be satisfied with that. And that's where being aggressive and proactive in treating this disease, because the blood vessels are still changing. So we still need to be able to be thoughtful in what we should be doing next to stay ahead of it.
And Doctor, are there ways to determine progression?
We have several tests that we're able to look at, including the echocardiogram, which does an ultrasound of the heart. We're able to look at blood tests such as the NT-proBNP or BNP, which is a substance that the heart releases when it's under strain or if somebody's in heart failure. And then we also have the 6-minute walk test, and that tells us functionally how somebody's doing. And then the last is the functional class, and this is determining what somebody is able to do. So a functional class 1 would be somebody who really doesn't have limitations in terms of what they do on a daily basis. A functional class 2 would be somebody that has some limitations with their daily activities, but they're not limited in what they can do. A functional class 3 are people that realistically, even their daily activities become a struggle for them. And a functional class 4 is somebody that even at rest may feel those symptoms. So all of these come together to help determine a patient's risk for the disease progression. And in this situation, we utilize those tests that we spoke of to try to get our patients' treatment goals from high or intermediate risk down to that low risk category. And how do we need to act upon that? Do we need to add another medication to try and improve how you're doing?
Marla, how are you doing today? I mean, you look gorgeous, fantastic.
I'm feeling much better. I'm in close contact with my doctor and my nurse, letting them know how I feel, if my symptoms are changing, and getting on top of things and really advocating for myself as much as possible. I have a walking program now that I have established with my doctor, and I'm working full time, and I'm getting ready to watch my daughter graduate from high school in the summer. So
there you go. Doctor, any final thoughts for our viewers?
From my standpoint, I think Marla is a perfect example in that advocate for yourself. Push your physician, push your provider, ask the hard questions. There's a doctor discussion tool that you can download from UnitedPAHsupport.com that can give you questions that you might want to ask your doctor.
Thank you, ladies, so much. For more information on PAH, visit UnitedPAHsupport.com, and you can always just go to our website, thebalancingact.com.
Can you feel it? Oh, fall is in the air.
Love it.
Yes, and Ralph is creating an autumn dish using locally grown farm-fresh veggies and noodles.
Ooh, fantastic. Farm to fork. Ralph is on the road at Bedner's in Boynton Beach, Florida. Hey, Ralph. Hey, Pumpkin.
Today, Ralph on the road is going to Bedner's farm in Boynton Beach. I'm going to meet my new friend, Marie Bedner. I'm going to get there, and I'm going to pick out some bountiful vegetables from the produce section. I can't wait.
Ralph, welcome to Bedner's.
So good to be here. Oh, thank
you for coming.
So much for having me. This is an absolutely amazing piece of property. What goes on here?
Well, we are a family farm. We're sustainable growers. It is less of a carbon footprint on the environment. We're right next to the Wildlife Refuge, which is part of the Everglades system. We've open it up to the public. We have a lot going on with our fall festival. So right now we have hay rides, we have a corn maze.
You got a pumpkin patch?
We have a pumpkin patch.
Yeah, maybe we can go pick through the store and see what other deliciousness you have.
I'd love to.
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's fall, and I'm thinking that I want to do like a root vegetable game that we're going on here.
So here we are in the section with our beets.
How about a turnip? You got a turnip over here?
We got turnips.
All right, right here.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna need some sage. You got
All the herbs are right here.
All right, I got turnips, I got beets, I got carrots, I got parsnips, I got sage.
Let's get cooking.
I'm starving. Let's
Yeah.
move on. Well, welcome aboard to the autumnal version of Ralph on the Road. Marie, I gotta tell you something. I love everything about your farm, the pumpkin patch, the corn mazes. I got my No Yolks noodles. I'm using the dumpling noodles, and these are perfect for this dish, so I'm super excited. All right, so I'm gonna grab my two bowls over here. First vegetable preparation, I've got the candied pumpkin. So I've diced up some of this beautiful pumpkin. I'm gonna hit that with just a little bit of olive oil, and then I've got some beautiful orange blossom honey that we picked out of the store. And then some good old-fashioned pumpkin pie spice, which is clove and cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg. Gonna get that in there. Spin that all around. Next up, beets, carrots, parsnips, turnips. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil here. It's screaming fall. I'm gonna season it up with salt and good old-fashioned black pepper. We're gonna toss this all around, pop it into the oven. 375 degrees in the oven, about 30, 40 minutes, coaxing out all that flavor. But luckily, I've got les petites elves that work in the kitchen and get some stuff ready for me. And I've got right here the roasted vegetables all ready to go. So I'm gonna put this to the side. I got my pan a little hot. To this, I'm gonna add some of this beautiful rolled butter that I saw.
Only 2 ingredients.
Look at that. And when it gets brown, it's called beurre noisette. And beurre noisette is a little toasted hazelnut kind of flavor. It's really quite fantastic. I'm gonna cook in some of this sage. You hear that sizzle?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna add my vegetables in, slide them around. And then let's not forget about the star that I got going on in here, the No Yolks noodles. They're buttery, they're fluffy. Let's give it a roll around. All right, now it's time for us to plate it up. Now, I'm just gonna slide this candied pumpkin in this pan for a sec. Just slide that around.
You're the chef, you know best.
Look at that. My No Yolks noodles look great. Just a little drizzle of olive oil. I'm coming to you. All right, here is some of my autumnal paradise for you. The candied pumpkin, the beets, the parsnips.
Wow, the earthy goodness of those root vegetables really come out.
Thank you so much, myself and everybody from Ralph on the Road. We think you're the coolest.
Thank you. I hope you come back again soon.
100% I will. People who grow change lives. For details on all the ingredients I use to make No Yolks dumpling noodles with roasted vegetables and sage butter and candied spiced pumpkin for today's show, go to the website, thebalancingact.com. And as always, you can upload your favorite No Yolks recipe noodles to noyolks.com. We'd love to see what you cook.
Today, we honor veterans, those living and those who are no longer with us. We remember their sacrifices and thank them for our freedom. When many of these brave men and women return home, they can feel lost, emotionally unstable. Some have suffered physical challenges, and spiritually, many are broken. But a very special organization is helping these veterans heal and find peace. Joining me today from the Wounded Warrior Project are Tracy Farrell, Vice President of Engagement and Physical Health and Wellness, James Herrera, Physical Health and Wellness Director, and Mark Lally, a U.S. Army Wounded Warrior. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting.
First, I want to thank all of you for your service, because all of you have served. Tracy, I want to start with you. I was reading here, you served more than 22 years in the U.S. Army.
I did. I joined following the footsteps of my grandfathers and my father, and was able to serve for 22 years as military police, and then joined Wounded Warrior Project shortly after I transitioned.
And now you're giving back.
Yes.
I love the picture with you and your parents. James, you served for 4 years as well in the Army?
I did. My grandfather, father, and 2 uncles all served during different wartime conflicts, and I felt the call to service as well.
We hear so many grandfathers here, which leads me to Mark. Both of your grandfathers served in World War II?
Yes, ma'am. I have one in Europe and one in the Pacific.
Wow, and look at these great pictures. They inspired you, but I know 9/11 was a turning point for you. What happened?
Yes, ma'am. I remember sitting as a 15-year-old watching the footage on TV and seeing everything happening, and I knew this was my Pearl Harbor, so my time to step up and say, we needed to make sure this doesn't happen again.
So you stepped up, you joined, you wanted to serve, and years later, you, if I'm correct, were flying over Italy with your comrades. What happened?
Yes, ma'am. Flying over Italy, loving it. The mountains and everything was fun.
What war was it, if I may ask?
No war, just peacetime and training mission that time.
Okay.
And suffered a malfunction and lost control, and we lost 6 of my brothers in an accident.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So 5 survived?
Yes, ma'am.
Including you, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
You suffered extensive injuries, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am, I did. Severe head injury, over 2 dozen broken bones, speech problems, paralysis. It's gone.
Now, I know for that moment and many months later, it was very tough, emotionally, physically, and spiritually for you. But you go to a Tampa Veteran Hospital and you meet a very special person. If I'm correct, it's an outreach coordinator for the Wounded Warrior Project. What did this person do for you?
He walked into my room with a milkshake, because hospital food is not good, a backpack full of toiletries that I didn't have with me from transitions, and he promised me that Wounded Warrior Project would never leave me behind, me or my family behind. Talked to me about going on different adventures, whether it be fishing, hunting, camping, sports events, and talked to me about his family. I'm thinking, you know, if this guy can do all this with one leg, what's my excuse? Why can't I keep going forward?
What a great moment for you. What a great message, and what a great man that was, or he is, I should say. Let's talk about the Wounded Warrior Project. It started back in 2003. It's helping millions of veterans. I mean, the impact is huge, Tracy.
It is. It is. For the past 16 years, Wounded Warrior Project has been transforming the way wounded veterans are engaged and empowered in their communities. And we do this through over a dozen free programs and services that focus on a family's financial wellness, as well as their physical health and mental health and wellness.
And James, you're in charge of the physical, I know there's many programs, but tell me about yours. It has a lot to do with physical, correct?
Absolutely. So our Soldier Ride, adaptive sports, and physical health and wellness programs empower warriors through training and skill building. It helps them reduce stress, combat depression, and just get better in their lives.
And they do so many of the sports, don't they?
There's just something amazing about sports. The competitiveness, the camaraderie helps warriors bond together, much like they did during their service time with their brothers and sisters.
Tracy, you see the smiles in those pictures, in the video. I mean, you can see, or you can hope that that broken spirit is gone.
Right. All of those positive attributes that James just mentioned are present when you play sport or get out into your community and are physically fit. And so we just hope to create those safety nets so that more warriors can do so. How
important is it, Mark, to know that you're part of something where you know people care about you? You went through these programs. How much did they help you?
They have helped me tremendously, from serving as part of a team in the military to playing as a team, playing sports, and playing with an organization that treats you like a member of the team. It does so much to empower you and so much to get you to stand on your own again, get you to help your community again, help your family again, help be a better person in general, just be there. So
that's fantastic. I mean, what you all are doing is great. Tracy, for anyone out there who would like information on how to help, and everyone should be helping our veterans, where can they go?
WoundedWarriorProject.org. It has the one-stop shop for all information you need.
WoundedWarriorProject.org. And I'm not going to leave yet without you telling me how fabulous it is to be a daddy to baby girls, twins.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. So how has that changed your life?
It's definitely brought a lot more joy into my life. It's brought a lot more love, a lot more just purpose.
Ah, they're beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your service.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you so much.
And happy Veterans Day to all of you. Of course, if you'd like more information on the Wounded Warrior Project, just go to our website, thebalancingact.com.
It's always great to have Ralph on the show, and I want a bowl of those noodles. Oh, yum,
yummy.
yum, yum, yum.
And again, to Tracy, James, and Mark, you know, for coming in to talk about the Wounded Warrior Project. It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
And on this Veterans Day, thank you all for your service.
Thank you for your service. And remember to head to our Facebook page and our website for more, and follow us on Twitter.
And Instagram, @Julie and Olga.
Thanks for watching, everybody. So long. We'll see you next time.